This conference
good
will
to
now
go.
be recorded.
Okay. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, in the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Town of Harwich Recreation and Youth Commission is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so by Channel 18 simulcast, or if despite our best efforts we are not able to provide for real-time access, and we will post a record of this meeting on the city/town's website as soon as we are able. Okay, moving right along. Any public comments? Okay. Public presentations? None. We have minutes from 9/8.
I move the 9/8/20 minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I think you have to do a roll
I'm
call.
gonna do a hand call, yep. Frank?
Yes.
Van?
Yes.
David?
Abstain.
Michael?
Yes.
And I'm an aye. They do pass.
John's here now, too.
John can't vote, he wasn't here for that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Don't want to get him in trouble. Second meeting. Okay, we have minutes from the 13th. 13th of October,
I wasn't at that meeting, so I can't move it.
and David wasn't at that meeting,
Right. I was
Have
there.
enough for vote.
and I don't see oh, there they are. Michael, Frank, so it would have to be, I need a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the meetings as printed for October 13th, 2020.
And a second?
Second the 13th.
Second from Michael Hurley. Any discussion? All those in favor? Frank?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
John Larrabee?
Aye.
John Mahan is a yes, passes as well. Thank you. Director's report, everything should be in your packet. Eric, anything new to add?
The only thing to add is under CPC update meeting. That meeting didn't have a quorum, but it was rescheduled, but it's not being required that department heads present. We submitted a written report, and my understanding is if they have any questions on it, they will contact us, but there's no longer a presentation to go along with it.
Okay.
That's the only update on director's report.
Any questions for Eric on the director's report? Seeing none, moving on. Budget reports, Eric?
Budget report you'll have included, as far as our regular budget goes, we're on good track. That one's not printed out here, but our revolving fund budget is. We currently sit with a budget of $12,222.65. And that's the budget report.
Okay. Any questions for Eric on the budget report?
I noticed we hit a low of 3,200. I don't know if we ever were that low.
That was after the summer and not being able to do anything. We usually build up quite a padding then, but things are a little different.
Do we have any revenue coming in now at all, Eric?
Yeah, we do. We have a child care program that's running 5 days a week, as well as a field hockey clinic. So we have some revenue coming in. We also have minimal expenses going out, so it should hang pretty steady.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
John, Eric, what is our revolving account right now?
$12,222.65.
Are we up or down from last year?
We're a little down from this point last year because we usually end in the plus a little bit after the summer, but we ran no summer programs. Plus our fall programming now is much less than it usually is.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing nothing else, we'll move on. Chairman's report, nothing new to report on my end. Liaison report, CPC, please, Mr. Nixon.
Hello, folks, how we doing? I've got an updated numbers for you for the next estimated revenue. And I want to remind everybody that we can't estimate 21's revenue or use 21's revenue. It's got to be certified by the Department of Revenue. So we're going to go to an estimated balance for the undesignated fund FY22. And that is the following: $3,339,692.06.
That's total, Dave?
No, that's undesignated. You need the total, Eric.
No, I thought when we met the other day, you had told me a number of like 1.8 million.
Right. Like I said, these numbers are fluid.
Oh, very fluid. Okay.
This is for September 2020 ATM. So these are the most current numbers.
So there's 3.3 million of just in undesignated funds?
Undesignated, 1,339,000.
Oh, I thought you said 3 million. I'm sorry.
You did.
You did.
Did I say 3?
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
I was going to
Okay,
say I'd like
sorry.
to put a dome over Brooks Park.
All right, let's do it again to be clear. Total estimated 22 balance, FY22. Under undesignated fund balance, $1,339,692.06.
Thank you for clarifying that, David.
Eric, the total monies, including all 4 buckets, are $2,790,556. Do you want the breakdown for open space, historic, and community housing?
I don't need it
I don't
specifically,
think you
but
need that, David. Thank you.
Okay,
Anything else for CPC?
John,
Hold on,
David,
hold on.
calling project,
this coming
David?
Friday
Hold
is
on.
the deadline. And Friday at 4 o'clock, I've already received a couple of applications. And that's about it.
Thank you.
yes,
Question.
you answered my question, David. I was going to ask, how many projects have been submitted thus far?
Right now, as of today, 2.
Obviously not including what we have ongoing at the present time.
That's correct.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Frank, any questions?
No, so after, there's 1,339,000 after we've taken out for the land bank and everything, Dave?
That includes the answer is yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
John Larrabee, any questions?
No questions.
Michael Hurley.
Yeah, just one quick, David. So when people are submitting projects, is it going to come out of the 1.3 million or the 2.7? This is kind of still new to me.
All right. There's 4 buckets, Michael. There's undesignated, which contains 70% of the total monies. There's 3 other buckets for 10% for open space, 10% for historic preservation, and 10% for community housing. All of it adds up to 2.790,556.
so Mike, 2.7 is the total amount available. The 1.3 is the amount of money that we could take from.
I gotcha. So the projects we're submitting come out of the,
It's It's not just recreation that accesses that undesignated. If community housing, if historic preservation, open space, if any one of those projects falls short of the money in their buckets, they have the ability to reach in to the undesignated fund.
Okay, great.
Michael, are you comfortable? I'm not sure what you're saying, David. What do we have available for ongoing projects currently?
Do you want me
There's
to?
two projects submitted. What do you think is going to be available for our CPC funding?
It doesn't work that way, Vaughn. What we have available,
David, let me put it another way. What is currently available that you know is available for CPC projects to date?
$1,339,692.
Thank you.
I was pointing out to Michael was the other three buckets. Not enough money in those buckets to cover those applications. Those buckets can look into that 1.3 that we utilize. Does that help anybody?
Those other buckets don't have a greater priority over recreation, do they?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Vaughn, I'm assuming you haven't been to a facilities committee meeting yet.
Yeah, I spoke to Carolyn today, and we have not met, or the committee has not met for some time now, and she assured me that there'll be a meeting coming up shortly.
Okay,
Keep you
thank you.
informed as we move forward.
All right. We have an email from a Mr. Patrick Otten regarding town water stations. In a CPC request, you have seen the emails that were provided to us prior to the packet having to be to town hall. There's also a map there of where their proposed locations are. We will handle this further under CPC, which is the next discussion anyhow. I might as well go right into that. Just so you know, Eric has a brief update on that request. He also received information regarding that, a more in-depth packet, but it did not make it to Eric before the meeting was posted and cannot be distributed because of that. So the information that you see is what we have at this point. Eric will provide the updated number. And we'll get into that in a minute, just so we're all clear. Did I cover that correctly, Eric?
Yep, that sounds right. We have it under new business as well as a separate item. Either way, though, it's fine.
Okay, yeah, I think it has to, yeah, okay. Then what I'm gonna do with that being said is jump to number 7 and take that first. So just so we can have that, if there are any questions, we can take care of that now. So I wanna go to new business first, and then old business. So everybody has had a chance to see the emails and the locations. Eric, can you please give a brief update?
Yep, like John said, this was information I received not long ago. I had asked for more detail. This was a very broad request in the email that you have. I asked for more detailed presentation to bring to you guys. It did not get to me in time to get on the agenda. But the update is it does look like they're moving forward for a CPC request. The total number is $30,000 they're asking for. The water department is part of that application, and they're looking for our support.
And just so, Eric, I did see in the one of that email that these are non-filtered
Okay.
water filling stations.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay, good.
Yes, it's mentioned in there somewhere.
Oh, I see it on the bottom paragraph.
Possible vendor is LK making refill stations that are ADA, outdoor, non-refrigerated, non-filtered. freeze resistant, just so we're clear on that.
Yep.
Okay. So what is the commission's pleasure? Do you want to handle these one at a time, I'm assuming, right, Eric?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
What's the commission's pleasure, thoughts on this article? Frank?
I think it's a good idea. Many other towns are doing it. And as far as paying for the water, we just put in our general budget the expense at Red River and Brooks Park. The chamber picks up the expense there, and I don't know who picks up the expense at the rail trail. But I think it's a good idea. And I would endorse it.
John Larrabee?
And my question would be whether the rail trail would be town property or state.
The rail trail does not fall under rec jurisdiction property. So that would fall under, I believe, state. Yeah.
ECR.
Yeah.
Good question, John. Anything else, John?
That's it from me.
Michael?
No questions, the same, supportive of it.
David?
I'm going to hold off on my comments because I have to vet it later.
Okay. Commission's pleasure?
John,
Oh,
I have
Van,
a
I'm sorry.
question. Yeah, what is the responsibility of liability with these stations? Who's responsible once they're installed?
We have no information regarding that. We have to keep in mind, this was a very last minute article, and we're kind of behind the 8 ball in regards to information that we can provide, share. So we don't have any other information, Van, other than what you see in that email that was attached to the packet.
So they're looking for our support for CPC funds, is that it, John?
A letter of support.
By me?
A letter of support.
Letter of support, okay. Thank you.
John,
Okay.
just another quick, actually, I just
Yes,
have another
Michael.
quick question. So out of the 4 proposed, there's going to be 2 of them that are not on our property, even though they'd be looking for an endorsement. Do we need to approve them to go on the property first? Or is that something within our realm, or can they just be put in there?
I
There's
believe
only 3. Oh, I'm sorry, John.
we would support the project either up or down. This isn't the first time that a CPC request through Rec has been made that wasn't on Rec property. Perfect example would be the bike trail crossings, Michael. I mean,
Okay,
those came in through bikeways, but they just look to us for support.
I got you. Okay, thanks.
John, do I get a sense from your earlier comment that they have not given us enough time to consider or study or look into this matter further?
That's my opinion, Van. I mean, today's the 27th. Eric received this information after the agenda was posted last week. But we keep in mind, they don't need they've already got support of water department, I believe, Eric.
Yep.
and
They're actually a
highway.
co-writer on the application.
So they're just looking for our blessing, Van. As we all know, it doesn't, we don't have to, one way or the other. They have every right to move forward without it, but they are looking for our blessing.
Said that, then I'll make a motion that we give them our blessing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to take a roll call. Frank?
I'm in favor, yes, aye.
John? Larrabee?
I'm going to say no just because not enough information.
Michael Hurley?
Aye.
David?
I'm going to say aye.
Van?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. So now I'm going to flip back up to old business. And 2020 CPC article submission, possible votes. Last month, we talked about, quick overview. Last year, as we know, CPC, or we withdrew CPC for Sand Pond in the amount of, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, $83,500.
Yep,
And the fencing for Senior Memorial at $40,181.
correct.
The Brooks Park lights difference is $125.
Yep,
And the White House field lights difference, is $100,000. So that
you got
comes
it.
out to $348,681.
Correct.
Okay, so
John, did you miss the last one? I don't know if the
Number
Brooks Park
5.
irrigation. Did you say the Brooks Park irrigation?
no, these are the ones we discussed last week. We haven't
I got
voted
you.
Brooks Park. So I guess what I'm going to do first is have a further discussion on Brooks Park irrigation possible article, as well as the request for from the Harwich Conservation Trust for the Bank Street bog. So why don't we start with that one, as we have guests from there in case there's any questions. I guess what we have to do, and just so everybody's aware, those from the conservation, Michael and I'm sorry, Tom and Nick, is we have to we may be asked to prioritize. It's not something that we're asked right now because we're not before CPC, but it is something that we frequently get asked. On your list, what are your priorities? We haven't taken a formal vote yet, and we're going to do that tonight. I can probably tell you that the lighting projects are going to be 1A and 1A, just because they've been out there the longest. Okay, so we discussed and we heard from the Conservation Commission last week. I'm going to open it up now to thoughts, discussion, or questions of them, or just in general. So Frank, I'll start it with you.
Yeah, I think it's a worthy project, and I support the project. I know I asked the last time if there's any fundraising for that particular project. And I guess I've learned that you are fundraising for other projects at this time?
Yes, we are. We're working on a land saving project, actually, that's 100% in the Sand Pond watershed. So it will help protect the swimming there from the town swim beach from a water quality perspective. Trying to finish that fundraising by the end of the year. We're trying to open a trailhead for a new walking trail experience in East Harwich at Pleasant Bay Woodlands. That's roughly on a 49-acre area. So we hope to open that by probably this winter, if not spring. And we're also looking at some another land saving project we're planning right now for 2021 that it's going to also include another walking trail destination. So we're trying to put in some passive recreation opportunities into these different fundraising projects. And so we are seeking your letter of support respectfully on this proposal for this ADA wheelchair accessible loop and this other boardwalk connector. With a total budget of $300,000, and I fully understand and respect that you have these other projects, and you have to list your priorities. So, if you find that $300,000 is too much, or maybe CPC comes back to you and says that might be too much, maybe another approach here is still envision the 300,000, but it's a multi-year, it's a 2-year application process. So this year would be 150, with the understanding we'd come back to you at this time next year for 150 for the next fiscal year. So that could be another way to do this, to meet your funding needs and still keep this public access, wheelchair accessible and boardwalk connector project moving forward. So that's some thoughts. Sorry for the long answer.
Thank you, Michael. Just to clarify something, if CPC has a request of maybe, like you mentioned, Michael, 150 instead of 300, that will go directly through you. It will not go through Rec, just so you know that.
Yes, and we would ask for your letter of support to attach to the application to CPC.
Absolutely. We'll give you a letter of support one way, if that's how the commission goes.
Right.
Just to clarify, when there is a discussion about how much funding you get, that is between you, the Harwich Conservation Trust, and CPC. Does
Right.
not have anything to do with Rec itself.
I see.
Okay?
Okay.
Just so we're clear on that. One thing we could do, and it's an option. I mean, we have three options. We can vote to support it, we can vote not to support it, or we can vote to support part of it. I think if we voted to, I think we all support the project, the funding part comes down to CPC. So that's just my 2 cents there. Vaughn, did you have any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Frank, you were up.
Pardon me?
Frank,
What's that?
did you have any other questions on this?
No, just thank you.
John Larrabee.
My only question, it looks like is it correct, 150,000 for the 300-foot boardwalk, is that correct?
Yeah, so, and that would include the design, the permitting, and the construction of the boardwalk. And then budgeting 150,000 for the ADA wheelchair accessible loop, which would be accessed off of that former Harbor Master Workshop area off Bank Street, and as well as a viewing deck for those who may not want to venture that far out onto the wheelchair loop, but they could have access through wheelchair or ADA access to the viewing deck as well. So that's the concept.
Okay, thank you.
Michael Hurley.
Thanks, John. Yeah, definitely supportive of the project. I know over the years now, just kind of becoming a little more experienced as we've had other groups, the playground being last year. Just some thought to phasing the project, which is we've done a lot also. Eric has done, sometimes to make it a little more attractive and not be such a one-year cost. So, like John said, definitely supportive of the project, how you want to put it to DPC. Sometimes phasing is, maybe better.
Thank you, Michael. David?
You're on mute, Dave.
You're muted, David.
I'm glad that, Mr. Chairman, I'm glad you clarified. For a moment there, it sounded like there was a joint project between CPC and the Rec Department and Conservation. But I'm glad you clarified that. I wasn't at the last meeting, so I just read what I have for information here. Sounds like a reasonable request. As far as CPC is concerned, again, for those that don't know me, I'm the rec advocate to CPC, but I also chair CPC. I have a split project over a 2-year period, a 3-year period. At this point in time is absolutely the right way to go, if possible. So, enough said. Thank you.
And Van?
I think most of you said what I was going to say. My concern is that Mike, you indicated a 2-year plan, phasing it within a 2-year program. I know when we undertook the Brooks Park program, we went into a 5-year phasing and further out, as a matter of fact. And I'm wondering whether or not you would consider doing a 3-year phase rather than doing $150,000 per year. With so many other projects being out there in terms of everybody looking for the same dollars, whether or not you would consider a 3-year phase-in approach rather than a 2-year phase-in approach, so that we can distribute the monies where there are the highest priorities and we can move forward. I support the notion that you have, the plan and the proposal, but I'm concerned about the money factor with so many other organizations and groups looking for the same pie, if you will. It's very difficult to give all the money to one group and not spread it out as we need to do. We were under consideration for doing that last year with the playground, but unfortunately that didn't work the way we wanted it to work. But in any event, if you would consider a 3-year plan, I think it would be more doable all around.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's the commission's pleasure?
I have something to say, John.
Oh, sorry, Frank.
Oh, yeah, their money would come out of that other bucket anyways. It wouldn't, it could come out of the $1.3 million, but there's money in there for conservation anyways, out of the 2.7. So, it's not coming out of, the whole thing will not be coming out of 1.339. In other words, am I correct in that?
David Nixon, can you clarify that, please?
Frank, the buckets again are undesignated, open space, historic preserve, and community housing.
So that would not be open space, it wouldn't fall, it's conservation.
Exactly, Frank.
Okay, thank you.
Good question, though, Frank. All right, pleasure?
John, it's Tom Evans.
Oh, hi, Tom, sorry.
No, I just wonder if I could offer sort of a general comment to add perspective in addition to our appreciation for your even considering this. We are, when you think about it, we're a very small nonprofit organization supported by an army of volunteers. And together we accomplish a great deal, but virtually every project that we take on, especially when it's land acquisition, in this market has got a pretty big price tag attached to it. So from a fundraising point of view, we're always hitting over our weight class, but in large part because we are so often acting in partnership either with the town or with the state. And so when you look at the Harwich constituency from which we raise money, it's the 12,000 residents of Harwich. We don't have a regional constituency. We don't have a national constituency. So it's really important for us to explore every partnership that we possibly can. So, and we're grateful, therefore, for your consideration here.
Thank you, Tom. David Nixon, I see your hand up.
A quick question. Is this application coming from open space? Because that's when you're talking about land acquisition, that's what I just caught. I'm sorry, go ahead.
This is not an acquisition project. I mean, this is, Michael, I can let you talk to a little bit more detail there.
Yeah, this is a recreation project. So the application would be coming from Harwich Conservation Trust. Again, hopefully after you've had time to consider this project, with a letter of support from your commission. So it would be asking to access when it's reviewed by CPC, asking to access the undesignated funds.
And David, my comment was just to offer kind of a general perspective on the earlier question about whether or not we seek funding from other sources. And in general, we have to do that for all of our projects. But this one is not land acquisition.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? What's your pleasure?
I'll move that we provide support that the Recreation and Youth Department Commission support the request of the Conservation Commission.
Second.
With the proviso that they consider looking at the project from a 3-year perspective rather than a 2-year perspective. I'd like to see it spread out a little further. But again, that funding is up to the CPC. That's just my thought.
So we have a motion from Vaughn, a second from David Nixon. Vaughn, I just want clarification. Do you want that proviso in the motion, or are we just giving it broad support and they can work out funding?
Broad support, but I'm passing on to Mike that if there's something you guys can do in terms of thinking about it down the road, it would be most helpful, I'm sure, all around.
And Vaughn, may I add a clarification? I
Sure.
think it's not that commission, Harwich Conservation Commission. This is the Harwich Conservation Trust.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion amongst the commission members? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call. Frank?
Aye.
John Larrabee?
Aye.
Michael Hurley?
Aye.
David Nixon?
Aye.
Vaughn? It's a unanimous vote, Eric.
Okay, and I'll have that letter out to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you all so much. This is exciting. It's an exciting
Good luck with the
opportunity.
project. Thank you for coming on again tonight.
Thank you all.
You do a good job.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to the 5 articles. Let's take these. I'm gonna start with Brooks Park lights. We are looking for $125,000 to get that project started and completed. Is there any further discussion on that project? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the submission of an article for CPC funding for the Brooks Park lighting project for an additional $125,000.
I
Do I hear a
second it.
second?
Second, John.
Second by Frank. Eric,
Got it.
okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to request $125,000 for the start, finish, completion of Brooks Park lighting. Frank?
Aye.
John Larrabee?
Aye.
David Nixon?
Aye.
Vaughn?
Aye.
Michael Hurley?
Aye.
It is a unanimous vote. Okay. The next one is the $100,000 request for White House Field. Same thing. Any questions or discussion on White House Field? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the submission of an article for CPC funding for the White House Field lighting project for an additional $100,000.
Second.
Frank seconded that, Eric, just so you know.
Yep.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call. Frank?
Aye.
John Larrabee?
Aye.
David Nixon?
Aye.
Vaughn?
Aye.
Michael Hurley?
Aye.
It's a unanimous vote, Eric. Okay, the next one is Sand Pond. That is fencing, tear down the old boathouse, hopefully some beautification and some playground equipment. That request is $83,500. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a
Motion.
motion that, go ahead.
Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead, Frank.
I
Oh,
make
go
a
ahead,
motion-
Vaughn, you have it.
John, you want me to do that or what?
Yes, please.
I make a motion to approve the submission of an article for CPC funding for the revitalization of Sand Pond Phase 2 for the amount of $83,500.
We have a motion,
Second.
second by Frank. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Frank?
Aye.
John Larrabee?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Van? Van?
All right.
Michael Hurley?
And I just glad to see Sam Pond moving on. That's been a project.
Absolutely. Okay. Senior Memorial Fencing, with the request is $40,181. Any further discussion on that one? Seeing none, entertain a motion, please.
The
I'll make a
motion to
motion.
approve.
Go ahead, Ben.
Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
No,
You
Van,
do
go
it.
ahead. Keep it going.
I make
Please.
a motion to approve the submission of an article for CPC funding for senior memorial fencing for $40,181.
Second,
Second by Frank. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Frank?
aye.
John Larrabee?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Michael Hurley?
Aye.
It is unanimous. So that is the four, and those four total, just for informational sake, if I did my math right, 348,681. Okay? The next article to discuss is the Brooks Park irrigation, which we spoke about last week. I don't know if there's any updates on that, Frank or Eric?
I have a few comments. Just so you know, the area that we're talking about, where is between the bike trail and the parking lot, the newer parking lot. And they're going to irrigate all the fenced-in area, that's the wooden fenced-in area, down to the bathroom. And they want to hydroseed and loam the two areas that are fenced in by the wooden posts. There's a few things, amounts here I question. A well of $7,000. I'm questioning that because last year we paid $8,600 just to repair a well. So is that a real figure, 7,000?
That's the figure I got. So I haven't heard from the company, but I talked to Brian Albee, and he said for a range of 4,000 to 6,000.
Wow.
But he said at the most 7 for a well for an area that size. He said the only thing that would make it higher than the 4 or 5 would be how far the electric would have to go. But he said 7 at tops.
Okay. And on benches, Eric, the benches, would they be with the two posts that go into the ground and cement? Or
Yes.
would they be? They would be. Now, I'm questioning that.
What we put in there for the number for that was based on the same memorial benches that we currently have. So that's possibly what we were hoping when we put those numbers together, is that in the meantime, from now until if there is a potential project in place, people would want memorial benches there and would buy them themselves. And then you would be able to reduce that cost. But the 7,000 for 4 benches is for the standard memorial benches with no concrete pad.
And where do we have those benches right now? Is that like the playground bench?
No, it's like the ones at the beaches. The memorial ones that people buy with the plaques on them.
Those are wooden benches, right?
No, there's two types at least at Red River. There's like a Trex composite material, and then there's the older style wooden ones, Frank.
It's a Trex one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Anything else to offer, Frank?
No.
John Larrabee,
No questions.
David Nixon.
To the board, I've got a lot of questions. First off, the amount of units that that CPC is going to fund through the undesignated balance. I want to make sure that Rec gets the lights on both of those projects John said before, A and B, completed. I also want to make sure that Senior Memorial gets their fence and that Sand Pond gets finished. Eric, you know as well as I do, when you make your presentations, they're going to ask you to prioritize what we want. If there's any way that the board can postpone bringing another project forward based on what we've already gone through the procurement process, and quite frankly, Frank, just so you understand, this still hasn't been fixed. And we're
frozen.
Mm-hmm.
the CPC may be kicking in another couple $100,000.
So is he.
No, he's moving.
I have no.
You all set? Hold on, Frank. You all set, David?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Van?
am- Okay.
Van's frozen for some reason.
Okay,
I froze.
Michael Hurley.
We can hear you, Van.
Okay, that's good. You don't have to see me.
All right, Van, do you have any comments?
No, I'm good.
Michael Hurley.
Nope, I'm good. Just, I mean, I can see the value in the project. I'll also make a comment with David that, you know, this will put 5 projects plus 2 we're supporting. So, you know, it's not a whole lot of money, but if it's going to distract from other projects for this year.
Who did I get? Everybody?
John,
Yeah, I mean,
quickly,
that's my concern as well. Yeah, so I guess that, and then the other question I had would be I wish we had harder numbers, I'll be honest with you. I do have a call into a well company. We played phone tag today, and I apologize. I didn't get back in touch with him before this meeting. So anyhow, that's all. So what is Frank, you have something to add?
Yeah, we have the hard numbers are for the loaming, the seeding, and the irrigation. And if we want to prioritize, I have no problem with that being number 5. You know, but maybe if you don't want to put it in, we don't put it in. But you know, as you said previously, John, I'm all in favor of the 2 lighting projects as 1 and A and A1, and the other ones are very important too. I realize that. I was just thinking that area looks very shabby. If you notice that the area where the boards are, I mean, it's just about. It's never been watered. It's never been seeded. It was seeded, excuse me, but it's never been fertilized or anything, and it's close to just being sand there now. And it would be the idea of the benches would be a rest area for the bikers.
Frank, do you have those numbers in? Do you have those numbers in writing?
Yes, I do. Yeah, Eric, I gave it to Eric.
Yeah, I have
Larry. Yeah.
All right. Okay, what's any other questions on that project?
John, I'd like to echo some of the things that you folks have said already. I think that my question to Frank is that, you know, you put this together, and I'm sure you did a very thorough job, but how high is this as far as your priority? Can you wait another year with this until we see where we're going with the other CPC articles? Because we've been waiting for a couple of years to get those projects done, and we don't want to delay this any further. So again, you did indicate that you're willing to reconsider and maybe look at this as a future project. Is this something we should think about as a group?
I don't know. I did mention that area between the men's room and ladies' room at the main bathroom there. There's a small project for about 3 years ago, and we never did it. But whatever. I'm not gonna. Whatever you decide is fine.
Okay, do we have a positive motion? Okay. Hearing none, I'm going to move on. What I would like to do at this point is prioritize the 4 projects that we have in front of us. I think it's safe to, and I don't want to say what it's safe to say. Frank, if you're prioritizing those 5, could you put them in order, please?
I'd say the lighting project, the one out there the longest has been Brooks Park lighting project. The second one would be White House Field lighting project. And the third one, well, I guess either one, Sand Pond, and the fourth one, Senior Memorial fencing. And if you want to put the 5th one in, well, there's no motion on that.
Okay, so that's the 4. Thank you, Frank. John Larrabee, prioritize if you could. I know it's hard for you just coming on board. I apologize.
Yeah, I've seen the White House lights also. I would say for me, that's number 1. Brooks Park lighting, number 2. The fencing project, number 3. And Sand Pond, number 4.
And just for clarification, John, I think the push for Brooks is the fact that that's 3 years old at this point. That just is an education more than anything else. So you were fencing and then sand pond was number 4, okay?
Yep.
Michael Hurley,
Brooks Park, White House Fields, Sand Pond, saying we're investing in the bathrooms there under an article currently, and then the fencing at Memorial.
okay? David?
I'd like to echo what Michael said, but I have one other question to ask before we go to a vote.
Yep.
Eric,
Yes.
has there been any movement at all on the bathrooms?
At Sand Pond?
No, at Brooks.
Oh, Brooks Park. I'm still waiting on Griffin. I have an email into him again, checking in once again if the ADA has gotten back to him with a variance or whatever they call it to allow us to open it. So still in a holding pattern.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they're
Thank you.
closed now.
Yeah.
Anything else, David?
All set. Thanks, John.
Van?
It would be the lightings at the lightings 1, 2, and the fence, because we've been waiting. They've been waiting for at least 3 years down here for that fence, and then the last one would be the sand pond.
Okay. All right, it looks like we have I will entertain a motion. From what I can see in my notes here, the majority believes our priority is White House Field, take that back. Brooks Park lighting, White House Field lighting, Sand Pond, and Senior Memorial fencing. So I will entertain a motion.
So move.
We don't, I'm sorry, we don't need a motion. This
No.
doesn't need to be a motion vote.
No.
That's based on the tally. That is our priority list. Okay?
And one comment, John?
Hold on, Frank. If
Go ahead.
CPC makes the request at one of their meetings, or if we're not there and David asks, you now know, Dave, Mr. Chair, that our priority list is as we just stated. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, it should be
John,
noted
you're dead.
on something I just received. After 3 years, the money can automatically be scooped up. So Brooks Park has been out there a long time.
Good segue, Frank. David, if you can, is there anything we need to do, paperwork that needs to be filled out to request an extension, or is that just pretty much a given?
When that happens, Eric will be informed
Okay.
and we'll take it from there. Remember, that's not automatic. That has to come before CPC, and it's a the board to either rescind the money or to extend the time.
Okay. Thank you. I believe that is it. Next regular scheduled meeting is for November 24th, which is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I may not be available. I will keep you posted. Now I'll switch it over to open session. Frank, anything?
No, I guess, Eric, we received a crack filler for the tennis courts, and if we get some warm weather, I guess Highway will be doing that job.
Yep, that's what Brian says.
And are we going to replace that bench at the playground? That's a long ways off. We could do that in the summer.
Yeah, I have to look into how much it's going to cost to replace the broken bench, but I'll find out how much it costs and go from there.
Yeah,
I
okay.
spoke to Brian today. The bench doesn't need to be replaced. You can replace those 4 bottom boards.
You can?
Oh,
Okay.
Brian's looking into getting similar size composite that's on there now, and replacing the 3 bottom pieces. Sorry, I
Oh,
should have
good.
said that under director's report. Chairman's report. Thanks for the reminder, Frank.
Okay.
Anything else? Frank?
No, nothing?
John Larrabee?
No, nothing.
Feel a little more comfortable today?
A little better today.
There you go. Michael?
I'm good, thanks. Takes about 3 years, John.
David?
Yeah, update. Eric, have you looked into extending the height of the backboards up at the practice court?
No, I have not.
Again, for a second request, would you consider doing that, please?
I could look into it. You're the only person that's ever asked for it, but I'd be happy to do it for you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's the tennis backboard, Dave?
The tennis backboard.
Maybe
Yeah,
you
we
should
could
take
put-
up a new sport.
I'm tired of hitting the balls over the top and trying to get down the other side to get them.
They can put
I'll
a
work on that forehand.
netting up there or fencing up there. Actually, the boards were supposed to be a foot off the ground, but, you know, they weren't.
Right? Maybe you should teach them to play pickleball.
Yeah, you get real exercise, Dave.
Oh, God.
All right, Eric, anything else you want to add?
No,
Just
I have
a-
nothing else.
Just a little update on pickleball, by the way. People are not coming out. This summer, a lot of people did not come out. We took out some out of town people. And in the winter inside, we're playing inside now at the Cultural Center. And last year we had 77 Harwich residents playing inside. We added a few, so should we be well over 80? We have 52 that signed up. And, you know, it's the virus.
Absolutely. Van, I'm sorry, I didn't, you're not here and I almost forgot about you. Anything to add, Vaughn?
I have nothing at this point. I just want to welcome John to the commission.
Thank
It'll take you more than 3 years, John. How about 18?
Let me see, 86.
All right,
yeah.
hearing nothing else?
34 for me, and I'm still catching on, yeah.
Yikes. All right, hearing nothing else, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, everybody.
Good seeing you
Gentlemen,
again,
stop
Van,
recording.
even though you disappeared.
Thank you.